Figure out the controls here. Scott, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yep.
Awesome.
How are you this evening?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I haven't used Zoom in quite a while, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. I feel like we're still sort of split, 50-50 or 60-40 between Teams and Zoom. So
Okay.
I still manage to get on Zoom on a regular basis.
Every now and again, we have, I don't know, we run into an issue, and then I think there's this desire that we're compelled to like switch. And so we'll use Teams until it creates an issue, and then we switch to WebEx until it creates an issue, and then
Yeah.
now we're back to Zoom. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Our firm, for whatever reason, decided that we were going to double down on like WebEx, and then I think there was a internal revolt, and so now you can it's preferred that you use WebEx, but you can they've set you up on a Teams with Teams as well. But
Okay. All right. Well, that
I
makes
don't think
sense. I
yeah,
can.
I don't think anybody uses WebEx anymore though. Like that's just my sense.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's interesting. It's just we started with Zoom,
Hmm.
and then we early in the pandemic, and then we left it, I think, for WebEx, and then I think we went to Teams for the
Yep.
SSPA meetings, and now we're back to Zoom. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Uh,
Hopefully nothing happens tonight that compels us to make to make a switch.
yeah. I completely agree. Hey, do you mind if I just try to share my screen real quick just to make sure it's coming through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, looks like I need you to
Permissions.
unlock me so I can share.
Yeah, I'll make. Wait a minute. I'll make you a co-host, and hopefully
Got it.
that will work.
Got it. That's perfect. Got it. Here we go. Yep. All right. Are you able to see that presentation?
Perfect, man.
All right.
Looks good.
I'm just kind of scrolling through. So perfect. Okay. Well, I'll stop sharing now. You can turn
And
that back on.
I am still working on getting you that map, Scott.
Yeah.
I After this meeting, if you'll, just in case I forget, I'll make a note. I sent over a like rough draft of a map of an area that we wanted to have considered to
Hmm.
our admin, but I'm still not sure exactly what her boundaries were. So I can send you the
Okay.
rough draft map
Yeah,
until I
that's
get
perfect.
the
Yeah.
official one from her.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Again, we're just trying to figure out and make sure if folks are getting notice that we're following up with them in the zoning process as well.
Fair enough. I don't want to jinx it, but you know, I don't think I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
When this came through the process, I'll be honest with you, this was like the most straightforward of all of the SSPA nominations. So
Yeah. That's kind of how we felt as well, but you never
okay,
know.
yeah, yeah, just in case.
Yep.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Oh, it looks like he's still connecting.
Oh, connecting audio.
This is Dave. This is David, who's the applicant from Cop Defense Properties.
Okay, awesome. We had another. I think it was Agape House.
Hmm.
The nomination. No one showed up.
Yep. How long do you
So
stay on if no one shows up?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to defer to my betters for that.
Oh,
Uh, I imagine we would probably hang out for about 30 minutes or so just to give folks
yep.
time. I think that's where they ended up cutting it
Yeah.
about 7:30. And I think I scheduled this one for a little bit less. Normally we do 2 hours, and I think I just scheduled it for from 7 to 8:30.
Yeah. I saw it was scheduled for an hour and a half, but I don't think I could talk about this for that long. There's not enough meat on the bone.
There's not really, man. There's not really. I'm gonna do the I guess just so you're aware, the comp plan spiel
Yeah.
that we normally do. Uh, and then I'll introduce the project, talk a little bit about Land Unit J, I think, in a little more detail than we've typically done, but not much. It's still going to be very high level. We still don't have a scope for the timing of the transportation analysis.
Hmm.
So that's the results of which would impact whenever our staff report is due. So I think we're flexible. I mean, I'm going to get started on the staff report here pretty soon, but I think we'll probably aim or tell folks to keep an eye out around the February timeframe.
Got it. That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah, and talking with Les over at Wells, I know he was still waiting for just some information from the long range planning transportation folks.
Yeah, and I was on that meeting with them last week, and I think VDOT was a part of the meeting as well.
Yep.
And so HNTV walked through their scope, and I don't think there were any real issues. There were a few, I guess, spots that FCD had suggested that they add, and a few suggestions that VDOT had. So I just didn't know how that impacted their overall timing, but
Yep. Yeah, it felt like it was pretty straightforward.
yeah,
The report I got.
that's my sense. I'm not a transportation engineer, so I didn't want to misspeak, but yeah, that's my sense too.
I just do what the transportation people tell me.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't even try anymore. I don't try.
David, can you hear us? Oh,
There we go. David, can you hear us now?
I don't know if he can hear us.
I'm gonna have a button here that says ask to unmute. Let's see if he can. Maybe he can hear us. I think there. He is.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
I was trying to dial in. Usually I'm able to dial in, but none of the access codes work.
Oh no. That's not a good sign. Did it just say it wasn't? What kind of error message did it give you?
It said it wasn't the correct access code.
And that was the access code you got from the website?
No, it's one that's
well, the
webs-
one I sent you was the one that I forwarded from the county website.
Okay. All right.
yeah, it just said it had a meeting ID. So I call in number and then I entered the meeting ID and that didn't work. So
let me see. Let me make sure that I have it correct. Not that I'm able to change it at this point. Maybe I can get in. Let me just make sure.
Oh, at least the link seems to be working, so that's good. They must have just turned the HVAC off in my my office because all of a sudden the temperature jumped like 10 degrees. You take this jacket off.
That's no good, man.
Nope.
I have the opposite problem in here. I have a vent right above the desk, and I'm hiding a little space heater.
Yep.
I
had an office like that, and it lasted like a week, and then I was like, I gotta move.
am I putting out a lot of background noise by any chance? Air noise?
Now I'm not hearing any background.
All right, good deal.
Are you all able to still hear me okay?
Yes.
No, I can't hear you. Let me see something.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good. It's been so long since I used Zoom. It's like 2.5 years since I used my password. I didn't remember it. Have to create another one.
Probably had to download, all 5,000 updates they've done between then and now.
Oh, exactly. It's crazy.
Mr. Kelly,
now-
Mr. Pecora.
In my room. Shoot.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, good, good. And Scott, is Mr. Orcutt with you as well?
He is not.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Orcutt. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm trying to just listen while I drive, if that's okay. So I'm not going to be
Yeah.
on camera right now.
Absolutely fine. If you have a question too, I'll go ahead and let you know now. If you're unable to ask it for whatever reason, if you're in the car, feel free to reach out to me afterwards.
Okay.
So all of the information is on our website.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure. I wanted to be able to distinguish who was with the county team and who was joining as members of the public. So it's helpful.
Yeah, I represent a adjacent landowner. That's all.
Awesome.
Got it.
Mrs. Williams?
Hey everyone.
There were some issues noted with the call-in number, so I'm going to give it. I think we'll give it to about 7:05, maybe 7:10 if there isn't much more attendance, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey, Daniel, this is Scott Adams with McGuire Woods. We're the land use attorney representing the property owner taking this through. Just out of curiosity, which property are you with?
It's Independence Center 2,
Got it.
Conference Center Drive.
Yep.
So basically directly across the street.
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get started. I see I guess a couple of folks on the call here. It appears that most of us are representing either the county or the team, and that's totally fine. The meetings are recorded, so we'll likely just go through the presentation really quickly, give everyone a sort of a high level overview of the proposal, and then the information can be posted online for anyone who wants to follow up. So to begin really quickly, welcome everyone. My name is Michael Burton. I am with the Fairfax County Department of Planning and Development, specifically the Long Range Planning Division. I am joined this evening by a number of colleagues from different agencies. I'm actually going to start with Sharon Williams, who is with our Zoning Evaluation Division. She will also be working on this project with me. Sharon, did you want to introduce yourself or?
Hey, hi everyone. Sharon Williams, staff coordinator. Excited to be here and be working on this project.
Awesome. Thank you for logging in tonight. I'm also joined by the illustrious Fairfax County Department of Transportation. And I don't use that word lightly. I will go down, I guess, in the order that I have you in my cubes here. Kyle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I'm Kyle Kelly, and I'm with the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, and I'll be working on reviewing the multimodal transportation analysis for this project. So glad to be here.
Awesome. Mr. Pecora?
Good evening, everyone. Bob Pecora here with FCDOT. I'll be assisting Kyle in the review, and I'm also with Long Range Transportation Planning. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Burke.
It's Tom Burke, a senior transportation planner with DOT, and I am also in long range planning and will be assisting Bob and Kyle, whoever they need.
Awesome. And I'm also privileged to be joined by the representatives of the nominator, McGuire Woods. Scott Adams, I'll turn it over to you for an introduction.
Sure. So thanks, Michael, and great to be here tonight. I'm Scott Adams. I'm a land use and real estate partner at McGuire Woods, representing the applicant on this project. We've got a contingent of our development team on the call tonight, starting with David Norfolk from COPT Defense Properties, who's the owner and the applicant. And then also my colleague, Lori Greenleaf, who's a senior land use planner with McGuire Woods, and Les Atkins, who's our transportation consultant with Wells and Associates.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all again for joining the call. The order of proceedings tonight, I plan to give just a really high level overview of what this proposal entails, the comprehensive plan, what a comprehensive plan amendment process looks like, and then we'll talk a little bit about what some of staff's early considerations are, and then we will open it up for discussion. So let's see if I can pull up my presentation here. There we go. Are you all able to see that okay? And if you're in the car driving, don't worry about it. Most of this material will be available on the website, and I'll try to talk you through some of what we're visualizing. So really quickly, this plan amendment concerns the Park Center site. It's sort of in the heart of the Westfield area. It's plan amendment number 2023-3-1BR. The site is currently completely developed with office use, and the proposal that's been brought forth would simply increase the level of intensity of that office use on the site. Let's see if I can advance here. I think most folks on the call are aware of what the comprehensive plan is, but if you're not, this is a multi-layered document that we use in the county, both county staff, as well as our county elected officials, to help guide land use decisions across Fairfax. It provides recommendations for how land could be used in the future, how environmental and cultural resources are protected, for example, and for areas where we think future growth can be accommodated. The plan also outlines the county's land use policies, and we review it and update it on a relatively consistent basis as the county continues to grow and evolve. We're required by law, actually, by state code, to review our plan at least once every 5 years, and I think we meet that, and we review it probably a bit more consistently than that. To help us manage the policy guidance, the plan is comprised of multiple elements. That includes the policy plan element, area plans, as well as a plan map. The policy plan encapsulates land use guidance that applies to every land area within the county, so it's county-wide guidance. It includes, for example, policies related to housing affordability or environmental protection, and there are policies that would apply to any new or redevelopment, regardless of its location in the county. We also have area plan guidance, which offers more detailed policy for specific geographies. That would include broad areas within the county, such as Centerville and or the Dulles Suburban Center. All of these policies, both between the policy plan and our area plans, again, we use to evaluate potential land use changes or development proposals, such as the one that we'll be reviewing tonight. Tonight's presentation will focus on a proposed amendment in the Area 3 section of the comprehensive plan, in case you wanted to follow along. To help us organize and manage the comprehensive plan amendment projects, planning staff relies on what we call a work program, and effectively it is a list of projects that the Board of Supervisors has authorized us to work on. The types of amendments that are on the work program can vary, again, from those broader county-wide policy areas to more site-specific policy considerations, which characterizes, again, the Park Center proposal that we'll be looking at tonight. This amendment began as a proposal submitted during our 2022-2023 site-specific plan amendment process, which was an opportunity really for anyone in the county to submit a proposed change to the comprehensive plan. This process, however, focuses specifically on individual properties and or a cluster of properties that are in a well-defined or smaller geographic area. The planning process in general is the first stage of a formal review by the county and precedes more detailed review processes such as zoning actions or site review. The timeline for development can vary based on what level of review is needed at each of these stages. What's important to note is that the guidance offered in the comprehensive plan informs the review that would occur during the zoning stage. So in practice, our zoning applications must demonstrate how they meet the recommendations that spring from the planning process and the subsequent guidance that's included in the county's comprehensive plan. It's also possible for both the planning process and a zoning process to overlap. We call this a concurrent process, and this provides the benefit of evaluating plan changes or proposed plan changes while offering recommendations that could have a greater level of detail. Another important component of the recommendations that's found in our comprehensive plan is the county's concept for future development. Put simply, it provides a general framework for thinking about where most of our growth is encouraged. There are several different categories that are color-coded on the map here. Each category represents a different set of recommendations for how different areas can grow. So we have areas like suburban centers, which characterizes the area that we'll be looking at tonight. You have community business centers, which are really some of the older shopping areas closer into the core. Annandale is an example. You have transit station areas. which really characterize the areas like Reston, for example. It just gives you a sense of how different areas are shaped. There are different categories, or more general categories, I should say, for the remainder of the county, which is largely planned as suburban neighborhood, or single family residential neighborhoods generally. This particular nomination, as I mentioned quickly, is within the Dulles Suburban Center designation. Suburban centers are described as employment centers with core areas that encourage really a mix of uses. This can include residential. The mix of land uses can vary in density and intensity with transitioning to lower amounts of development near lower intensity communities. So our subject property, which is located here on the map outlined in black, is located at the intersection of Conference Center Drive and Stonecroft Boulevard. The site is a secured office campus within the Westfield's Corporate Park area. It's currently zoned I3, and it's planned for office use up to a 0.5 FAR. Plan guidance for the site is located within the Dulles Suburban Center section of the comprehensive plan, specifically subunit or land unit J, as we call it. Land unit J, just to note, is one of 3 areas within the Dulles Suburban Center that's really planned for these higher intensity uses. So for context, again, the area is primarily characterized by automobile-oriented office uses. A modest amount of single-family attached residential uses are located just south of the subject property. It's actually underneath the label here. It's the area that's in development, sort of red earth that you see there. The site itself, which is now highlighted in blue, is approximately 64 acres, making it one of the larger sites within the Westfield Office Park area. Currently, there are technically 4 gated access points with 2 used as primary access. The owners have expressed interest in expanding the office use on the site with the plan amendment, which proposes to increase the planned office intensity up from a 0.5 FAR to a 0.69 FAR, and that roughly equates to about 500,000 additional square feet of office space. And we'll take a look at that quantification in a moment. The representatives have expressed interest in a concurrent review. So the zoning application process will likely move forward parallel to the plan amendment process as well. This is a quick image of their concept. I know Scott is prepared to talk about this a little bit more in greater detail, but generally it shows the location of the 2 proposed new structures. There is a new parking deck, which is located in the northern half of the site. I think it is in a location, a part of a location that is undeveloped at present. And the other half of the parking deck, I think, is over what is now a surface parking lot. And then there is a single office structure, I believe it's a single office structure on another undeveloped portion of the site, just to the south of the parking deck. Really quickly, the quantification for the site as it stands today, there's about 850,000, I'll say, square feet of existing office development there today, but the site is entitled for the remainder of its development potential, which is about the 1.4 million square feet. And the proposal, again, aims to add roughly about 500,000 additional square feet, which would take the overall intensity of the site up to about 1.9 million square feet. Some of our initial considerations will be a land use analysis. A significant portion of land unit J is planned and developed with a range of non-residential uses primarily. That includes office, industrial, some industrial flex as well. However, recent planning efforts in the area, specifically Land Unit J, have diversified the use mix to include both residential uses and supporting retail. A great example of that is the Acreage site. I believe it's the Preserve now, which is located just to the east of the Sully District office. The goal of these efforts were to provide additional opportunities in the area to help support the needs of residents. So instead of it just being a 9-to-5 job center, they're looking to make the area more livable and help absorb some of the additional demand for residential. For the transportation analysis, we know just based on the number of trips that may be generated by the additional office use, that at a minimum, it will require an operational analysis. This analysis would help us better understand how the existing network functions and where some of the greater impacts might be, and allow us to make an assessment of both the existing bike and ped facilities that have been introduced in the area recently. We'll have more information about the results of the transportation analysis in the first quarter of next year. And ultimately, you can find the results of that analysis in our staff report, which we hope to publish around that time. There are some heritage resources that have been identified on site. The Farmington Bush Hill Cemetery, as well as the Scott Family Cemetery. At this time, no additional staff assessment is expected during the plan amendment process. We know that a lot of this consideration, or the consideration given to heritage resources, was committed when the site was originally developed with the existing uses. But the county archaeology staff may provide additional comments of any potential impacts that they note during the evaluation, during the zoning evaluation phase. So just something to be aware of. And with that, at present, we currently do not have any public hearing dates scheduled at the moment. Again, there's a level of analysis that we still need to undertake. We are anticipating that analysis again to complete somewhere within Q1 of 2024. So we ask that you stay tuned. You can visit the plan amendment webpage for additional information to learn more about when the staff report will be published and when the public hearing dates will be scheduled. And I would encourage you maybe to keep an eye on it around the late January to early February timeframe. I think we'll have a better sense of when that analysis will be completed and when our recommendation will be brought forth. All right, and with that, I wanted to pause for just a moment and allow for any questions. I can't see everyone, so I'm going to stop sharing here in a second. If you had any questions specifically about the plan amendment process, in just a moment, Mr. Adams is going to give a presentation on behalf of the applicant. Let's see.
Hey, this is Dan with Boyd Watterson. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
I couldn't tell if you said a few minutes back, did you indicate that some of the use or proposed use would be available to the general public, or did I not hear that correctly?
Great question. So this is a secure facility. So the site is not open to the public. And I believe that the new or the additional office use will be for the same purpose. So secure offices. So not open to the public.
Okay, and second question, we may not be able to disclose this yet, but do you know, other than the agency or the current agency that's there, is there a space proposed use for government contractors, or is it pretty much agency direct? Can you comment about that or not?
So I probably wouldn't be the best person to answer that question. Our evaluation focuses specifically on the use, but I will turn it over to Scott here in a moment. And if they're at liberty to say, I think he'll be better positioned to answer that for you.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Were there any other questions? I'm going to ask you to bear with me 1 second so I can figure out how to stop sharing my screen. There we go. There we are. All right, with that, Scott, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to see if I can figure out how to share my screen. So hopefully everybody can see my screen now. So that's a yes. I see heads nodding. So, well, thanks, Michael, and really great to be here, and appreciate staff, putting on this meeting, and everybody giving up a little bit of time tonight to hear about this project. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Scott Adams. I'm a land use attorney with McGuire Woods. We've got members of our team here, so we can definitely answer some of the questions that Dan had just raised. But overall, we view this as a pretty important and good opportunity for an existing employer within Westfields to reinvest and expand its office footprint. As Michael said, this is the result of an SSPA nomination that was put in. It was adopted onto the work program by the board as a tier 1 nomination, and so we're sort of pursuing the next step in the process of trying to move it from the work program to the comprehensive plan, and again, as Michael said, looking to do a concurrent rezoning and special exception at the same time. So I think just for a little bit of background on the site, right now you've got a current user who's a federal agency. They operate it as a secure campus. That's not going to change. This is really a desire by that federal agency to expand their footprint within the secure campus. So it'll be the same user, just looking to expand their operations there. As part of that, they need to increase the floor area on the site over and above what's permitted right now, which we think is great from a planning and an economic development standpoint, but does require a change to the comprehensive plan to go from the current 0.5 FAR recommendation up to a 0.69 FAR recommendation. I think from our perspective, we think that makes a lot of sense in the context of Westfields. And it also keeps an existing user in Fairfax County in Westfields, but brings additional jobs, and we think really helps to solidify the office market there. With that federal user, there's definitely some spinoff for other office users within Westfields. So just quickly, in terms of the background, the site is, as Michael said, is currently approved for office development. You've got 4 buildings that are currently there, building A, B, C, and D, and then you've got an existing parking garage in the middle. You have 2 additional buildings that are approved but not constructed. Those are buildings E and F, which are right here, and then you've got an approved but unconstructed parking garage in this area right here. And so additionally, in 2016, this site was approved as part of a special exception for heights for buildings C, E, and F. So E and F are the 2 buildings that are not constructed, but to allow those buildings to be constructed up to 120 feet in height. So what we're proposing, frankly, a pretty straightforward change as far as these things go. Really just looking to increase the density in the comprehensive plan from a 0.5 to a 0.69, so a 0.19 FAR increase. We're not looking to change the designation on the use, so retaining the office designation. Additionally, not looking to change any of the other recommendations in the comprehensive plan, so retaining all of those recommendations in terms of how the site's developed and the uses on the site. We're also looking to maintain the development envelope of the site, so you'll see that buildings E and F are in the same location as the existing approved buildings E and F. It's just they'll be a little bit larger than under the current approval. Additionally, you've got the new parking deck, which will cover most of the area where there's a proposed parking deck, but as Michael said, it sort of expands out kind of in this wing where it'll replace some surface parking with structured parking, which again is I think implementing one of the county goals in terms of trying to get parking into structured parking rather than surface parking. In addition, we're maintaining the access points on the site, so not changing any of the site circulation or how it impacts, or I guess how vehicles are egressing into the overall road network. We're also looking to maintain the building heights, so not looking to change the existing 120-foot maximum building height for buildings E and F, which are the two that are not constructed. And then just from an overall design standpoint, we're maintaining the mixed-use path sidewalks that currently exist all the way around the site. We're maintaining the existing mature landscaping, and we're not impacting the existing cemetery, which is kind of in this area here. And as Michael mentioned, as part of the initial site development, that cemetery was identified and preserved, and so we're not anticipating any changes or impacts to that. From a planning standpoint, we really think this is a project that's completely in line with Westfield's history as a preeminent office market. It's also consistent with the overall planning guidance for the area, which still does recommend office development and a focus on that office and commercial development. And so we're keeping that recommendation for office and just trying to implement that in a way that allows this user to expand. That said, we think it does dovetail nicely with some of the plans to diversify uses in Westfields. Michael mentioned the preserve development that Ackridge has going in, but this is a site that's near those planned and some already developed residential mixed-use hubs for Land Unit J. And so we think the increase in jobs, the increase in people coming to the site is really going to create some great synergy with those uses. That's not only going to help us and the users on this site, but also is going to help those mixed use developments, providing customers to the retail and additional employees who may be looking for a nearby home. Additionally, from a design standpoint, we're going to be staying within the Westfields Business Owners Association. And so we'll, like the properties around us, still be subject to the Westfields design guidelines. So, those will help to ensure that we continue to have high quality architecture on the site, high quality landscaping on the site that's consistent with the overall development pattern. In terms of kind of where we're at right now, as I mentioned, we're sort of in the first step of the community outreach for the comprehensive plan process. This is a tier 1 site, and so it did anticipate when it was added to the work program that there could be or maybe should be a concurrent rezoning. And so we have filed that rezoning and special exception. We're very early in the process, still going through some of the applications acceptance, but looking to move that forward within sort of the 2024 calendar year. And as was mentioned, we've been coordinating with our friends over at FCDOT in terms of the scoping for the multimodal transportation analysis, which is really going to inform both the comprehensive plan, but also our zoning application and any mitigation that's needed for additional trips coming from this site. So overall, I think we really think this is a great project for Westfields. We think it shows a commitment to office development within the Westfields area, which really is critical to the economic success of the area. It retains and expands an existing employer, which is really critical, and brings in high quality, high paying jobs to support the local economy. From like a policy standpoint, we think it's in full alignment with the plan goals in the Dulles Suburban Center, the comprehensive plan's economic development policy plan, and also with broader county goals in terms of the county's economic success plan, the strategic plan, but also the county's One Fairfax policy. So we're excited to bring this forward. We're excited to start the conversation tonight, and definitely happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Well, Scott, you answered my question. This is Dan again. So
yeah.
I think the reference earlier was about the Ackridge site.
Yep.
I believe. So sorry about that. No surprise. Your answer was no surprise to me. Okay. Terrific. Best case scenario, following all the potential rezoning and all the other approvals. I mean, what is your best case timeline for delivery at this point, or is it way too premature?
Yeah, I may let David Norfolk from Cop Defense Properties answer that one in terms of kind of what their time frame's looking like right now.
So we would like to move as fast as the county allows us, to be honest. So staying within the bounds of the plan amendment process and the rezoning process, and then the site plan revision process. So with those three processes ahead of us, that's really our what we're looking at as our timeline.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
And Mr. Orcutt, I think you were the guest of honor tonight, sir. So we certainly.
I didn't plan it that way, but I'm happy to be here. Yeah, it's good to listen in, and I'll follow up when I'm off the road. I'll follow up later. I guess you said this will be posted on the website. I believe some point. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Both. Go right ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying, you know, we have interest because we have obviously a property that's adjacent, but we're in similar real estate space as COPT is in terms of the type of use and mission critical facilities. So we're certainly interested to see, and I think it's great news again for the area, for Westfield, to see them, you know, growing in place there. So I think it's beneficial to all of us. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you again, sir. And yes, both the presentation, both a PDF of the presentation and this recording, you'll be able to access from the website. And a quick tip: this is what I do. If you just go to Google and you type in Fairfax County Park Center Amendment, it should take you directly there. I could give you other directions, but I think that's about the easiest way to get there. My email address.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
You know, I found that site earlier, so I think I'm familiar with where it's at.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I think that's it. Seeing no one else on the call, I wanted to ask if Scott, you or your team, or if there are any other comments from FCDOT or DPD.
I don't think we've got anything. I would just say, you know, Dan, if you've got questions about it, feel free to reach out. Happy to talk you through kind of the project or get you our presentation if that's easier.
Okay, fair enough. Appreciate that, Scott. Terrific. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. It sounds like we're wrapping up, and I need to jump. But thanks very much, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I think we're going to follow you. Thank you all for your time and your participation, and we'll connect again soon.
All right.
Okay, great. Have a great night. See you.
Thanks,
Take care,
Michael.
all.